What's going on, everyone? Jason here with Upshifting Adventures. It is 5:40 in the evening here in Colorado, and the temperature is 95 degrees still, which is highly unusual here in Colorado. But it's finally cooling down a little bit. I thought I could get a ride in this evening, and while I was doing that, I thought I would do a little bit of a review of the KTM Super Duke 1290R. I've had it for about 4 months now. I've got 2,274 miles on the odometer, and I thought it'd be a good time to give a little bit of my impressions on the bike and maybe dispel a few myths or rumors about the Super Duke. The largest of those rumors being that it is an untamed beast that's not really any good for street riding or riding around town or for new riders. Now, as for new riders, perhaps it does have a ton of power, and pretty much at all RPM levels. That's where you can get in trouble, is the lower end. If you twist that throttle, the wheel is going to come off the ground in certain modes. One of the things I hear a lot is that it is just uncontrollable. It's not good for city riding around town. I can say that after owning it for about a month or so, and maybe putting about 1,000 or 1,200 miles on it, I keep it in performance mode now. Track mode every now and then, but my general driving mode is in performance mode, which is what it's in right now. And I find it to be a very, well, I wouldn't say tame. It's tame if you want it to be, and it will roar when you want it to as well, for sure. Until recently, I haven't found much use for sixth gear, that's for sure. You really got to be going above 80 to use sixth gear, or it's just lurching and surging and vibrating so bad, you instinctively shift down into fifth because it just seems unusable. But I think as I put some more miles on it and the gears wear in a little bit, it's getting a little bit better for sure. But even in performance mode, just going down the street, it's very smooth. It doesn't vibrate, it doesn't rattle like I've heard some people say about it. I just find it to be quite smooth. Now, I'm not a professional rider. I am a guy who has had motorcycles pretty much consistently for the last 30 years. I've got a lot of experience, ridden a lot of different motorcycles, anywhere from Ducatis to ZX10s to CBRs, Harleys, all that stuff, right? So I've ridden them all. I've got a GS 1250 that I just put 3,000 miles on over an 8-day trip. So I do have plenty of experience with bikes, but I'm not a racer, and this bike I feel completely comfortable with, even in performance mode. Now, it will wheelie like nobody's business. So I'm in second gear right now. I'll see if I can get it. I'm on a slight uphill grade here. No, that didn't do it. I didn't have enough RPMs. But it will power up in second gear. Even with I'm about 240, 250 pounds most of the time. And it pulls my big butt around like nobody's business, for sure. Some of the things I've done to it so far, I did put these bar end mirrors on it. I think they look a lot better, and honestly they perform better. I feel like I have really good vision with the bar end mirrors. I put the anodized caps on the clutch and brake reservoirs. And the most important thing I did, I don't know if you can see it there, but I've got a Muapo or Mupo, I don't really know how you say it, steering stabilizer, because the factory WP steering damper is shit. There's just really no way around that, and they say you can pull it out and replace the fluid with some thicker gear oil, and that'll cure it up. But I figured if I'm going to do that, might as well just put a progressive damper on there, and that did cure the speed wobbles. I was definitely getting speed wobbles bad at high speeds, especially here in Denver on the highway. We have that the grooved or slotted highway surface that, you know, for rain dissipation and whatnot. So that steering damper helped a lot. Much more confident up at higher speeds now with this bike. So again, right now it's 95, 97 degrees, something like that. I'm wearing shorts, and I can definitely feel that exhaust on my shins. It does put out a fair bit of heat for sure, but nothing terrible, especially if you're over 35, 45 miles an hour. You can't feel it. But if you're at a stoplight, you're gonna feel that heat for sure. But I don't feel it on my ass. My butt is fairly comfortable all the time. So that's good. Right now I'm doing almost 50, I guess, and I can feel it a little bit on my left shin, but I did get a sunburn the other day, so that probably has something to do with it. Fourth gear, 3,400 RPM, somewhere around there. It's very smooth, but I do like the feel of the V-twin. It does have a little bit of a rumble to it, and it feels really good. But you know, this is just street riding. I'm in, you know, fourth gear at 45 miles an hour, just riding through a neighborhood here, and it's totally comfortable. The tires so far are doing really well. The Pirellis that it comes, I think they're Pirellis that it comes with. I'll have to double check that and make sure. But oh no, they're not. I'll put it in the comments what they are. They are lasting pretty well. I've only got, you know, 2,800 miles on it, but the rear tires are still looking good, and you know, the front tire I'm not going to be replacing often, because truth be told, I very rarely leave a stoplight on two wheels. It's just so easy to wheelie and so much fun. I'm not, as I've said in past videos, I am not the world's best wheelier by any measure, but the power-up wheelies on this bike are so easy to do. You know, just get it up to a few thousand RPMs and blip the throttle, and there it goes. Too easy. If you are not a wheeling aficionado, you're not a guy who really wheelies well, I think this bike is the perfect bike, because you don't have to clutch up. You just get it rolling and blip the throttle and it comes right up. So for me, it's been an awesome experience, because like I said, I'm not the world's best wheelier, but now every time I leave a light, I can wheelie, and I'm getting more comfortable with it. You know, obviously the first few wheelies were not anything great, and they're getting better over time, so that's really nice. Let's see, what else about the bike? So my girlfriend, she has the 890 Duke, and a couple weeks back we rode from here in the Denver area out to Leadville, Colorado, and took the long way around. It was about a 250 mile trip that we did that day, and again, I'm 6'4", running usually between 240 and 250, and I was so comfortable on the bike. Never once did I get any hot spots. My knees weren't hurting. It's just it's a joy to ride. And of course, around 75 or 80 miles an hour, you got the wind kind of holding you up a little bit. It is definitely not a sport bike seating feel. Like my shoulders and wrists aren't tired at the end of the day. It's really just quite enjoyable to sit on, even for, you know, lengthier portions or longer times, even for my tall frame. And I have a very long inseam as well, so I was a little concerned when I bought it that it wasn't going to be good for any sort of long rides, but it really is. It's been fantastic. Just making sure that I'm still recording here. I'm averaging about 48 to 50 miles per gallon on the bike, which is insane because I really rip on it a lot. I'm not a very casual, calm rider. I do like to get on the gas, but the gas mileage has been really good for sure. So one of the things that I really like about the bike, once you get used to riding it, you can see my thumb here, the menu is so easy to use, right? So you just click it over. I can see trip 1, see, right now I'm getting 47 miles to the gallon on right now, right? It tells you your fuel range, all that stuff. And then when you are in the menu mode, you can still see what gear you're in and how many miles per hour you're doing. So that's really nice. If you want to go back, you just kind of back out of it. General info on the bike, yada yada yada. Gives you your air pressure, which is good. I did find when I was running around 36 psi that I was getting a lot of front steering wobble. Anti-wheelie mode, launch control, you can change those. I just leave anti-wheelie mode off most of the time so that I can blip it, do a quick wheelie leaving the light, which is always fun, right? The spin adjuster, that is for when you are in performance mode. So if you're coming hard around a corner, you're on the brakes, you don't downshift and lock up that rear wheel. It'll automatically slip the clutch a little bit, so you don't have to worry about sliding out from under you, which is nice. What else do we got here? So I leave anti-wheelie mode off, like I said. If I was going to really get on it and try for a quarter mile time or a 0 to 60 time or whatever, I would turn anti-wheelie mode on. And even when you do that, the front end still comes up a good 6 to 8 inches. It just keeps you from looping the bike, really. ABS, I leave in road mode. It also has, what do you call it, Supermoto, which means you can, the front wheel always has ABS, but if you put it in Supermoto, you can lock up your back wheel, slide it around a corner if you want to do that. If you push the up button on the menu, you get your first menu here. So, it's got my gas level, what my range left is 170, and then the engine temperature or coolant temperature. If you push it to the right, you go through different things: damping, preload, anti-dive. I have that off right now. Your trip mode, your consumption. I'm getting 47 miles to the gallon at the moment, but it's pretty good. And if you push it up again, you get a little bit different screen. So I've still got my gas and my mileage that remains and my coolant temp, but then I also get my odometer temperature and oil temperature. And then to get out of that, you have to hit this return button here to go back to the screen before. One really nice thing is you even have cruise control in performance mode, not in track mode, but you do have it in performance mode. You just hit the button that's on the front side of this with your finger, and it locks. So now you've got your cruise control. Unlike a lot of bikes that I've ridden with cruise control, this one, right now I've got it set at 47. It'll go down to 40, 42 before it catches up and picks up again. But it doesn't try to throw you off it when it decides, oh heck, I'm well under speed, let me get back up to what it's set at and just full throttle. It's very smooth, so that's nice. And then in performance mode, if you have the cruise control off and you use these buttons, you can, if you see where it says spin, I'm changing 1, 2, 3 up to 9, and that's the amount of clutch you're getting when you downshift. That's your chassis, I forget what it's called, MCS, No, sorry, not MCS. I'll remember it and I'll put it on video. But so I usually just leave the spin at 5. That's good enough. The bike does have the option for heated seats, or sorry, heated hand grips. I don't have them. Don't really figure that's much of a requirement for this thing. I've only had one person on the back of the bike so far, and that was my 12-year-old son, and he said it was absolutely terrible. Now he rides himself. We have dirt bikes, but he also rides on the back of my GS 1250, and he said riding on this thing was a nightmare, which I totally get. The lights are very good at night. It's very, very bright. I leave the brights on all the time. But it is very bright. And one other thing that I forgot, I did put some ASV levers on the bike. Again, I'm a bigger dude, so I have some fatter fingers, and I found that with the stock clutch levers, I could not just one finger or two finger the clutch. It was like right at the engagement point. So I bought some short levers, as you can see here, so that I can keep 2 fingers on the grip while using the clutch, which leads to the quick shifter. It is so nice. I've only ridden a few bikes with quick shifters. My BMW, the GS, has quick shifters. I find them to be, I don't know, I hate to say it, but almost worthless. From first to second, the bike just, it feels like you're going to break it. You know, third, fourth, fifth, if you're full throttle, it works pretty well. But you know, just like a gentle throttle through town, it's very clunky. And then downshifting, I find that I almost have to stand on the dang lever to get it to stop, or I'm sorry, to downshift. But this KTM quick shifter is just fantastic. So smooth. It's like it was designed to work that way, right? Which is nice. So speaking of the shifter, the shift lever is adjustable, or you know, the little tab for your toes go under. It's adjustable on the bike. The rear sets also are adjustable. I can move them backward a little bit if I wanted to, but honestly I think I like them where they are. I haven't messed with it. I did move the shift lever down a little bit. I had so much room that when I was trying to really move, I was having a hard time upshifting because there was so much reach to get there. So I did move the shift tab down closer to my foot, and that's just, you know, how it was set at the factory or the, you know, the shop when they put it together. So it is nice to have all that adjustability. I find I have, even with, you know, my racing boots on, lots and lots of room. Works really well. So that's nice. And again, the rear sets are adjustable. How much they help, I don't really know. But I haven't found a need for them yet, and I'm a pretty tall dude, so it's working out pretty well for me. Now the bike also comes with a, you can see it here, it's kind of opened up, but well, I probably never actually closed it, but it comes with a USB port, and you can plug it in and connect your phone to the bike, which is really nice. It charges the phone, and I think you can actually connect it through the TFT. I just haven't done that because I haven't really needed to yet. But it's a nice feature. The TFT is fantastic. It is adjustable. You can move it to whatever position you want it to. I haven't messed with it. It's in a good position for me. The handlebars are also adjustable. If you're familiar with KTM, the bar mounts, there are actually 2 drilled holes, one forward, one rearward, so that you can position the bars where you like them the most. I haven't done that either. It's perfect for me. Now I did get the Evo version. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the blue tank. It looked a little too bright on all the videos I've seen, but in real life it's very dark and sinister looking blue. I really like it. And of course with the Evo, you get the adjustable WP, I'm sorry, the electronic WP suspension, and it is bitchin', let me tell you. So go into suspension here. You have your damping mode, automatic, sport, street, comfort, and advanced. In advanced, you can actually set it by percentage for your weight and riding style and all that. I was changing it between, you know, if I was in the city, I was using street. If I was going down the road, comfort, yada yada yada. I put it in automatic, reading some comments that other people made, and I'm totally happy with it. It's awesome. So, and then preload, I leave it in high because I'm, again, taller, and in high, auto high, the back end is actually raised a little bit over the front, so it's kind of raked. And then you have auto standard, auto low, and then in manual you can set it also by percentage. But I have found that auto high is good for me. And anti-dive, so you can turn on or off anti-dive. I was running it on. I turned it off a little bit ago because I was doing more wheelies, and I was just trying to soften up the front end a little bit. I think having anti-dive on probably stiffens it, so I wanted to just loosen it up a little bit, soften it up a little bit, so when I'm coming down, I'm not blowing out the suspension. Turn it around up here. It is a very fast bike, and I wasn't even I didn't really grab a handful of throttle in first gear because I just wanted to keep the front wheel on the ground. If you grab a handful of throttle in first and sometimes in second, that wheel's coming off the ground. There's no two ways about it. So right now I'm doing 60. I'll put it in 6th gear, and it's down at 3,000 RPM, and it's like rattling my teeth loose. So right about 80, it's okay. Go back to 5th. Again, the quick shifter, just simply a masterpiece. I don't know if anybody does it better. I've not ridden too many bikes, like I said, with the quick shift, but this KTM is just superb. So anyways, I'm gonna head back to the house now. I hope that the video was useful. If you're considering getting a KTM, or if you've got a new one, you haven't had any miles on it yet, what you can expect. But I will say I give this bike a 10 out of 10. It is so solid. It handles like a dream. I always feel in control of it, even though it is aptly named the Beast. It's just buttery smooth. It wants to ride with you. It doesn't want to take you for a ride. It wants you to take it for a ride, if that makes any sense. But to the naysayers out there that say this bike is too much bike and this and that and the other, I totally disagree. Now, one caveat, I am in Colorado. I'm at about 6,000 feet. So I do lose a little bit of horsepower being up here, but I don't think it's that much. I'm looking forward to taking this thing down to sea level and seeing exactly what it'll do. But for now, I'm totally happy with it. If you have some experience riding a motorcycle, or if you're a new rider and you have some self-discipline, this bike is a smile generator. Cannot be unhappy riding this motorcycle. It's just not possible. So yeah, and like I said, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please mash that like button for me and subscribe to my channel. I love making these videos. It's my new hobby, and every time I get a new subscriber, it just thrills me to death. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys out on the road at some point.